Welcome to episode 45 of the XRM Toolcast. In this episode, I talk with Linn Zaw Win, a fellow MVP who has been blogging his heart out over Power Platform tools. Talk through some of the tools maybe he found they didn't know about, and as well as his process or how he goes about blogging in his attempt to blog about every single tool, which are over 218 of them, in the XRM Toolbox, as well as other tools in the Power Platform community. So quite an undertaking. I do need to apologize for my audio quality on this episode. I had some settings wrong on my microphone, and that shouldn't happen again. I also gave an update on Jonas. Had a phone call with him this week, so that's at the beginning of the episode, if that's what you're looking for. And finally, we are on YouTube now, so if that's something that would be easier for you to access, you can check us out there. So, let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of the XRM Toolcast. With me, your host, Daryl, always raising the bar. And today I will give an update on Jonas and get into our guest. So I did have a chance to speak with Jonas this week. He called me up on Slack and we had a short conversation. I basically was asking him some questions about the show, and it was interesting. He'd say something, and then it'd start off with the first couple words being totally great. And then it quickly get into some marble jumble sometimes, some other words that didn't quite make sense at all. And so I really just had to focus on, like, what is he trying to say, not what is he actually saying. But eventually I figured, okay, he's happy that it's going forward. He doesn't want me to hold on for him. He wants me to keep on going forward with the show. So that was nice to hear from him. He still kind of had a sense of humor as well and all of that. And so that was good seeing as well. So from what I can tell, everything up here at Jonas in his head is working great. It's just when it goes to come out, the wires aren't connected. You can think of it like if you're learning to read for the first time, you have to learn the syllables, right? And then when you're reading, you have to put them all together and all the little consonants and vowels together to actually read what the word is. But after a while, you just look at the word and your brain knows what it is. And I think, that part he has to kind of relearn. So hoping that will continue. He keeps on posting photos and stuff like that. So everything looks like he's getting better. So that's great news on that aspect. So that's... Hello, it's me, and it's just me today, and a little update on Jonas, but now we'll get on to the actual show part of the show here. So I've invited another fellow MVP, Linn Zaw Win, not quite over. I invited him on, there we go, and kind of talk about some stuff that he's doing currently on his blog. So first, Linn, why don't you go ahead and give a little background, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been an MVP. And then we'll kind of dive into this whole blog series you have going on tools.
Hi, Daryl. My full name is Linn Zaw Win, and I'm currently living in Wellington, New Zealand. And I'm currently working as a technical consultant at the DXC Technology. And I became Microsoft Business Application around August last year, so I'm just pretty new to this area.
Brant, you're almost in your 1 year. You're halfway. You're over halfway.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So you're getting there. So how has that journey been for you so far?
It's really great. I really get to know a lot more and more MVPs. We have this Slack channel, and I'm really surprised to know the amounts of support that I got from all these other peer MVPs. And then I'm not. It's not surprising, but because I got hear from the other shows from the other MVPs, how they are being overwhelmed by the amount of information overloaded. Getting out of the fire hose when they join the tier list.
You don't know what you want to be listening to or what you should be listening to, and so you try to grab everything. And I don't know. It took me about 3 years. I'm like, okay, I think I'm done with like most of the stuff. I can just focus on this stuff, and I won't feel like I have so much FOMO. But you're probably in the thick of things at this point in time. So I didn't even realize that we had like a little internal distribution list that was maintained by one of the former MVPs, or now he's a former MVP. and I didn't realize that was different than the normal one from Microsoft. I just didn't pay attention to the email address. I didn't, but I could have very easily posted stuff I shouldn't have posted to the non-distribution list rather than the actual distribution list. So, yes, that kind of thing is very got to get used to all those sort of things, I guess. So, yeah, but today you're on because you're an MVP. Although congratulations to that. You're all on for this blog series that you've been running. I posted on Twitter under the XRM Toolcast, hey, ideas of what we should be doing. I had some of my own ideas. Kind of disappointed I only had one person say that it should interview my wife, but okay, it's a technical podcast, I understand. But no, you were the only commented suggestion, and once someone commented, multiple people actually liked it and said, hey, let's have him on. So yeah, so you started doing this blog post on tools in the community, and is this primarily XRM Toolbox, or did you just decide to focus on that to begin with?
It's not just about the XRM Toolbox tools. So I started off as the XRM Toolbox, but then I realized, oh, there are a lot of tools outside of the XRM Toolbox, so I just renamed the site. And my plan is to cover all of the tools, which is helping in the Power Platform ecosystem.
Okay.
So that there are some tools like the browser extension tools, like the Level Up, metadata browser, and Power Text from CAS, and also the other tools like managed solutions that you imported and you use like CI REST Builder, empty metadata browser, and their first-party Microsoft tools, even the built-in tools like the Check Access and Solution Checker, and also the other exe tools like your configuration migration and plugin registration tool. And there are even other tools which are not doesn't fall into those categories like CDS tools by David Yak, Human PCF generator by the Dynamics Ninja, Ivan Fiscal, and Power Studio, which was Flow Studio by Flow Ninja, John Liu. So yeah, there's a lot of tools outside of the XRM Toolbox, but I think it will take a lot of time before I get to those tools.
Well, yeah. So I think you listed on your blog as 212 XRM Toolbox tools currently.
Yeah, those are approved ones.
Yeah, approved in the tool store. Which means that if they keep on adding more, depending how fast you're going through them, you may never catch up, right?
Yeah. So the plan is to do it every day. So that's my plan.
Okay.
So previously I tried to write one every day, and then I tried to even like schedule it, for the first few days, and then like things, the work come up, and the recording for a conference and stuff, and now I'm trying to like doing the backlog to cover the days that I miss.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're doing a tool a day. How long do you normally spend on each tool?
It varies. Like yesterday tool, which is just a really simple CRM solution role compare. So what it does is you select two roles, security roles, and just show the different the privileges, and you can visually compare. It's just such a simple tool, so that would probably take like half an hour if I just do the screenshots and do the numbering and list out the features, and that's it. But if I have to say like bulk data updater from Jonas, and that probably take like 2 hours.
There's some significant investments in there, huh? Do you have some tools that you have a hard time knowing what they do to begin with? Like, do you have to do some research even before you get started with it?
Yes, especially those tools which doesn't have like a documentation. So I need to try out and like just see what it does. And sometimes even those tools like CDS Data Migrator, so they have the really quite comprehensive documentation, but yet This is such a really big tool, and I have to get my head around and how all these functionality works. There are a lot of functionality, and it's really such a big tool. So that would take time to cover everything.
I see. And you're
And
starting alphabetical, or you're kind of
yeah,
starting alphabetical. So that means that we may have a whole influx of tools that are, silly characters to begin with, to get
yeah,
farther ahead, right? Because I'm thinking, I was like, oh, you've already done Attribute Manager, you've done. I think you're still in the A. Maybe you've done the bulk updater. Yeah. So so you're getting to the first part of the alphabet, and I'm like, all right, the fetch XML fetch XML builder is going to be a while still, and then I'm like, all right, my Visual
mm,
Studio Solutions. So yeah, there's some that's going to be a while to get to. So yeah.
yeah. I can wait until I get to the fetch XML builder, but that'll probably take 3-4 hours.
That one, there's a lot there. There is a lot there. So,
A lot.
what made you decide to get started doing this? Why'd you say, you know what, I'm going to spend, if we take an hour per tool, I'm going to spend 300 hours of my life doing this. How did you decide that this was the investment you wanted to make?
Before I start blogging, writing up about these, I myself just curious to know what does all these tools work, and so I just set my goal. Okay, I just want to find out, what this tool does.
Mm-hmm.
One tool a day to know, what are all these tools in the XrmToolBox does. And that habit didn't stick away then because I'm just doing myself and I'm just tired. I'm just doesn't have enough time. So I did for like a couple of dozen tools and then I just stopped doing it. So and um, one day, I think, okay, maybe I just, write them down. I just took a note, gist of it, what the tool does, and probably I'll just, make it public.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just write up and show it to the um, public, and if it is beneficial to other people, and if I get start receiving feedback, and maybe I'll just encourage to do more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so that's where I think. And there's also the one who was on your show previously, the Dynamics Chronicles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they also write up have a series about this XRM toolbox, and
Yeah.
they also write like every weekly or every fortnightly and with the regulars. But I think there are like 200
Uh-huh.
about tools, and it's not gonna finish with that rate. So I think I need to do like every daily, in order to
Yeah.
get there, like so that it can be done maybe like within a year. So
All right.
that's where
So the one man shop Linn Zaw Win is attempting to overtake and to go beyond the whole team at the Dynamics Chronicles, and
well, I wouldn't say so. I'm not probably not gonna be able to write up as details as
yeah,
their
yep. There's
series.
a difference between quality and quantity there. You can't physically do the same thing, right? You're
Yeah,
one
yeah.
guy versus a team of 8 or so, and so yeah, yep. But I mean, there's a lot of strength in knowing that. Oh, I know nothing about this. I know that it will be talked about here, and going there and getting the information on it. So we haven't even mentioned your like website for it. So what's your blog that people can go and access a lot of stuff at?
Oh yeah, my blog post is just my full name,
Mm.
linzawwin.blogspot.com,
Okay.
and if you get there and there's a top menu, there's a home, and the second menu is the Power Platform tools.
Okay.
So from there you can get to the place where there are like a list of all these tools, and those tools with the hyperlink, those brown, red, brown color that you can click are the ones that you can access and see like briefly, what does the particular tool does,
Mm.
and you see the screenshots, and let's say like within 1-2 minutes you have a brief idea of what
Yeah.
this tool does.
Which is gold. So,
Yeah.
so I'm imagining a future here. Let's say that it's January 1st of 2022, and
hmm
we have listeners listening to this and they go and they know they need something with roles. And so they can quickly go and, rather than having to download every single tool has role in the name, they can look at all the documentation they've got for those, be able to pick up, oh yeah, this is the one I want, or these aren't the ones I don't want, or maybe these 2 or 3 are the ones that could work. So yeah, there's a tremendous amount of value, and as someone that does a really poor job of writing documentation, I commend you. So.
Yeah.
So have you had any tools that have popped up that you had no idea about, and you're like, wow, I could have used this? Or have you, are all the tools you've seen so far been the stuff that you at least knew about?
Most of them are, but one of the new tools that I just found out, realized, and after trying is underscore ends dots environment comparer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just see the name, I just think I might probably compare to environments, maybe like solution or components, but actually it's just comparing the data, the data of the
So
probably the
it's a data comparison.
yeah, data comparison. Like the main purpose is to compare the reference data. Like you have like 10 reference data, like for the let's say passport, the ID type in dev, but in your test or UAT there are only 8. So you just want to see the difference, and what you want to do, you want to delete in dev, or you just want to copy the missing ones. And
Mm-hmm.
you also there are also some of those are not exactly same. You want to overwrite and copy. So it's really useful, if you want to compare the data and then override or like
All right. Get them synced
delete
up.
it.
So
Yeah,
not only to
get them
compare,
synced up.
it's not only to compare and say, hey, these are different, but hey, let's make them the same. So this would, I assume, would be anything that would be like some sort of configuration data or something like that, where you've got a list of regions or a list of stores or whatever, or offices or something like that, where you really want to be the same among all the environments, and no one's spending every day trying to keep them in sync. So yeah, that was a good surprise, I guess. Any other ones that top your list of, hey, this was something I didn't know about that I wish I would have?
Yes, there's one tool for our CDS Data Migrator,
Mm-hmm.
and it's from the Capgemini, and they have these tools. It is pretty much similar to the we have this in Microsoft the first party. We have this um, configuration migration tool.
Yep.
So this is the superior version of the configuration migration tool. So what it does is it just export this config file, and it's pretty much export and import the data config file from one environment to another, but it has a lot of things that configuration migration tool doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it just color coded and sorts up the attributes which are different and missing, and we can then do like GUID mapping.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say this is different GUID in one environment, but you can transpose this to another environment, and they can do like apply the filter. That's one of the big things. So you don't want to copy the whole set of data, but you want to apply certain only specific data from this one environment to another. You can apply the filters, and they also migrate the calendars. That is one of the advantage of using this CDS data migrator to. Yeah, so yeah, I'll leave the link in the show notes.
You leave it.
So
I'll leave it.
yeah, I'll send the link to you
Yes, there you go.
for you to leave
Yes.
it.
It's not quite the same thing. All right, so those are two good tools. Have you had tools that are like, these are exactly the same thing? They should have talked to each other on this or not? I mean, you've only gone through this much of the list, right? So you've got a long way to go still.
Yeah, it's a long way. Like just in the two months to 2.5 months time. Like it just started on the 1st of January, so it's a long way to go.
It's there. It's there. I noticed. I always keep my head, seeing what sort of early bound tools are coming up, and what are people thinking that either the early bound generator doesn't do that should do, or what are they really focusing on that isn't quite what it is what they want. I still don't understand why Jonas did the late bound generator. That still doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, there's been some other ones. Okay, they really were concerned about this, or they really concerned about that. Okay, I can see why. Maybe that's something that would be helpful for them. So yeah, okay, well, cool. So and by the end of this, you may be the most knowledgeable person on tools for the Power Apps, Dataverse, CDS, CRM universe. Like, that may be you. You may have to change your name.
Wow.
Linn, I know all the tools I win.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. I might forget after like,
Huh?
6 months and so. So that's the reason why I document it down because I have a really problem with the long-term memory. I might forget, what are the tools that I don't like frequently use.
Be honest, how many times have you searched for something and found, oh yeah, I wrote a blog post about this, or I wrote about this or commented on this somewhere and used your own answer without even knowing it at first?
Yeah, definitely. And if somebody has a question about, oh, I want to achieve this, is there any such tool for that? And probably I might be able to, help answer that question.
Yep, that'd be great. That'd be great. So do you so you're a developer though in your day job, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I came from a developer background and now working as a technical consultant.
Okay. So when you say technical consultant, does that mean that you don't normally code and you normally configure, or what do you mean by technical consultant?
So the technical consultant is now like, so developer is like, no, I'm like 100%. I do the coding,
Okay.
I do the development. I just
100%
sit in
code
the
monkey.
corner.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. But when it comes to a technical consultant, it's probably like 70/30 or like 60/40, where I
Okay.
do a part of the solutioning and part of the dealing with the clients and um, not just showing what the does and also um, deal with the function consultant.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So the
it
reason I asked that was because I rarely find anybody that comes from a dev background that enjoys doing any sort of documentation. So, is that
mm.
something that you actually enjoy doing, or are you just kind of forcing yourself to get through it because you have this goal at the end and you want to accomplish that?
I wouldn't say I enjoy it. I'm always like procrastinate and push my like push to the last minute if I have to deliver like documentation like SPL documents
Okay.
or technical design documents. But yeah, as you mentioned, I just documented just because I feel that this is beneficial and even though I don't like documentation, I like explaining things.
Hmm.
So I do the screenshots and I try to explain the things around, how it works, and I'm really happy, if people are beneficial from that.
Okay.
So
Do you have a
yeah.
process that you do for when you go through a tool that you know nothing about? Do you first search for it? Do you first search with their documentation, or do you just go in and start pushing buttons and see what happens? Like what do you do?
Yeah, first I go and to the do list, and then from the do list I go to the project website. So if I get to the project website, I normally see if they have the README wiki recommendation in the normally GitHub website, or sometimes it redirects to the blog site where they announce about it and write up all the functionalities. So I briefly read through it and have an idea of how what it does,
Hmm?
and then I just start playing around with it and click all the buttons and all the menus and make sure to understand what each and every component does. So that's the first part before I do anything to write up. And then I take the screenshots and I just put the numbering like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this figure 1 and the point 1, this button does this functionality, and
walk through that.
and then I just list down all these functionalities.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just write. I have a template where I write up the summary first and what is the problem statement. What is the problem that we're solving with this tool, and how we solve it.
Okay.
This tool can solve it, and then I add up some links for tool information and also the documentation if they have any, or any blog posts, or sometimes some of the tools like they don't write anything about documentation on blog, but the tool is really good, and so that some other
Person has done it.
person has done the blogs, and so I edit those kind of blogs.
Cool.
And same thing for a video tutorial, and some of those has a video tutorial, like Jonas did, like
Yeah.
a lot of tool videos for his tools, but some of those are there's no video, but somebody else they did the video, and so I just put these video links to there.
Do you have any tools that you've done that you've been kind of scared by? Like, oh, this is kind of, they're really doing things that can mess up their system, or they're really doing things that they shouldn't, that they may not want to do, or accidentally do something. Have you ran into that? Because I think that's a fear that everyone that every like system admin says, oh, I don't want to do that. But there's been very rarely that I've seen a tool that's done that. So if you've seen one that you've been like, oh, that's kind of bad.
No, I don't think so. Or
Okay.
like all the tools, they're just doing the accessing the data through the API.
Yep.
So like if you have access, you have it. No? I mean, if you don't want this person to have access, you just control with a security role, and they won't be able to run the tool, and it will just it wouldn't work. So I didn't see any such tool. But some people who don't know how the system works, they might be like have a fear about it, like like level up to like the cold modes, and people are afraid of that. And there's a cold mode 2.0 where you can
Switch users.
impersonate like.
Yes. Yes.
And you're like, oh, what? They can switch user and he can do mess up data. No, 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 no. You can only impersonate when you have the privilege to impersonate. So I think it's all good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, do we miss anything or anything else that you want to make sure we talk about with the tools? Do you have other things you're doing outside of blogging that you'd like the listeners to know about?
Yeah, other than the outside of the blogging, I also getting into writing the tool for by myself.
Oh, okay.
I am not getting there, but I'm just starting to do pull requests, here and there, for the tools. So I did the pull request for fetch example builder last year. So it's just to add the functionality for nested expand query and getting the data from the related table. That is the thing.
Okay.
I have some tool ideas, but I just need to invest some time to some quiet time, and to focus and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there's no like public tool that I release, but I just wrote a one tool for myself on private use for me and some of my colleagues back in 2014. That is just a tool to create the attributes, the fields,
Okay.
columns,
Mm-hmm.
by uploading the
Excel file or
like
something?
Excel CSV template.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but now there are like a couple of like or 2, 3 tools in the toolbox too.
Yes.
So
And the reason is because it's painful to do it through the UI if you have lots and lots of fields, right? So yeah. Yep. That's tool. It
yeah,
makes sense.
and also like sometimes we both just we back in the days, no, we do the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
We do all these in the not a child way, so we just listed document everything, and all the fields that we're going to create and all the things that we're going to do in the Excel before we even start building it. So I'm thinking,
You've
since
already
we
done
have a
that
list,
work, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so might as well just upload and create them. So that's the way. But now we have this a lot of tools, and I think by far that's the attributes factory um, tool from the um, Dengi himself is I think the best tool for this purpose
Okay.
in the exam toolbox.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. All right. So, Brent, you're a fairly new MVP. You've got a year's worth of work of blogging ahead of you from all the tools that you're going to do. You've had some previous tool work that you've done, and you got some other ideas. You just need the time. And a side note there, I don't think I've ever created a tool that I didn't need specifically for a job at that. So if you manage to do it without needing it specifically for a job, my hat's off to you as well, because I've never managed to do that. But yeah. So so how can people get a hold of you, Linn?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on the Twitter. It is my full name at Linn Zaw Win, and also you can also contact me on the LinkedIn with my full name, Linn Zaw Win.
Awesome. Awesome. And for listeners of the show, if you'd like to add a suggestion for our future topics, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on either Twitter or LinkedIn with the XRM Toolcast, or you can email us at cast@xrmtoolbox.com. Now, I had to look that up because I don't have Jonas here to tell it for me. So so I was like, oh, yeah, I need to do that myself. It is cast@xrmtoolbox.com. So, Linn, thanks for joining us. We'll post links to your blog and to some of the tools you talked about, and appreciate the work that you've done. And welcome to the MVP community.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to have it on your show.
All right. Have a good day. I haven't got there yet. You're in the future, so enjoy the future.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Talk to you later, man. Bye.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.